Have you ever looked at all the different people in the world? It's amazing. We see people with different skin colors, hair types, and eye shapes. It might make you wonder if we are all related. The answer is a big, resounding yes. Scientific evidence, from our DNA to the fossils we find, tells us a clear story. Every single person on Earth today shares common ancestors. Think of it like a giant, sprawling family tree that goes back thousands and thousands of years. We all started from the same small group of early humans in one part of the world, Africa. So, in a very real way, everyone you meet is a long-lost cousin. This idea might seem strange at first, especially when we look so different from one another, but it's a fundamental concept in understanding who we are. We are one species, Homo sapiens. Our bodies work in the same basic ways. We all need food, water, and air. We all have hopes, dreams, and the ability to love. These connections are much deeper than the color of our skin. The differences we see today are the result of an incredible journey our ancestors took. They are not signs that we are fundamentally different, but rather proof of our species' amazing ability to adapt and thrive all over our planet. Imagine that first family, our shared ancestors. They didn't have all the variations we see today. They likely had a skin tone that was well suited to the environment where they lived, which was a place with very strong sunlight. As their children and their children's children began to explore the world, they encountered new challenges and new environments. This is where the story of our diversity really begins. It's a story of movement, of survival, and of slow, gradual change over countless generations. It's not just a story about the past, it's written in the DNA of every one of us. So, when we talk about humanity, we are talking about one family. It's a family that has grown and changed over a very long time. The variations we see are like different branches on that single family tree. Each branch tells a unique story of where those ancestors traveled and the conditions they lived in. But if you follow any of those branches back toward the trunk, you will find that they all connect. We all come from the same root. This shared origin is the starting point for understanding why our world is so beautifully and wonderfully diverse. It's a scientific fact, and it's pretty cool to think about. Now let's zoom in from the big human family to a smaller one. Think about a family you know with several kids. Do all the brothers and sisters look exactly alike? Usually not. One child might have their mother's curly hair, while another has their father's straight hair. One might be tall, and another might be shorter. They share the same parents, but they each get a unique mix of instructions, or genes, from them. It's like having two big buckets of Lego bricks, one from each parent. For each child, you reach in and grab a random handful from both buckets to build a new person. This mixing of genes is called genetic recombination, and it's a key reason for variety within any family. Each parent has two sets of genes for most traits, but they only pass on one set to their child. Which set gets passed on is completely random, like flipping a coin for every single trait. This is why you might look more like your aunt than your own sister, or why a new baby might have your grandfather's nose. This process ensures that every child, unless they are an identical twin, gets a brand new, one-of-a-kind combination of genetic information from their parents. Sometimes a completely new trait can appear because of a tiny random change in the genetic code. This is called a mutation. Most mutations are harmless and go unnoticed, but occasionally they can introduce a new feature into the family line. It might be something as simple as a different hair texture or a slightly different eye color. Over a very, very long time, these small changes can add up, contributing to the diversity we see. It's not something that happens overnight. It's a slow and steady process that adds more and more variety to the human gene pool with each passing generation. So even within the smallest family unit, diversity is the rule, not the exception. The same parents can produce children with a wide range of appearances. This same principle applies to our big human family. As our ancestors had children, generation after generation, the same random shuffling of genes happened. This created a natural variation in things like height, build, and yes, skin tone. This existing variety was the raw material that nature had to work with as humans began their long journey out of Africa and into new lands with new climates. Our early human ancestors didn't stay in one place. Driven by curiosity, the need for new resources, or changing climates, they began to move. This wasn't a quick trip. It was a slow migration that took place over tens of thousands of years. Small groups of people gradually walked their way out of Africa and into new continents. Some went east into Asia, others headed north into what is now Europe. Eventually, they crossed land bridges that no longer exist, reaching Australia and the Americas. They populated virtually every corner of the planet, from scorching deserts to frozen tundras. Each new place presented a new set of environmental conditions. The amount of sunlight was different. The climate was different, ranging from hot and humid to cold and dry. The types of food available were different. To survive and raise healthy children in these new homes, human populations had to adapt. This didn't happen because people decided to change. Instead, it was a natural process. Individuals who had traits that were slightly better suited for the new environment were more likely to be healthy, live longer, and have more children who survived. Think about a group that moved to a very cold northern region. Individuals who had bodies that were better at conserving heat might have had a slight advantage. Over many generations, that trait could become more common in that population. This process is called natural selection. It's not a conscious choice, but a filtering process. The environment selects which traits are most helpful for survival in that specific location. The same thing happened with countless other traits, from a person's build to how their body processes certain foods. This great migration is the reason we find people living everywhere on Earth. As groups moved further and further away from each other, they became relatively isolated. For thousands of years, a group in East Asia might not have had any contact with a group in Northern Europe. In this isolation, the slow processes of genetic shuffling and natural selection continued. Each population adapted to its own specific part of the world. This separation allowed for distinct sets of physical traits to become more common in different geographic regions, setting the stage for the visible diversity we see today. One of the most noticeable differences between people is skin color, and it's a fantastic example of natural selection at work. The key factor here is the sun, specifically its ultraviolet or UV radiation. Our skin produces a pigment called melanin, which acts like a natural sunblock. It protects our skin cells from being damaged by too much UV light. People with more melanin have darker skin, and people with less melanin have lighter skin. The amount of melanin your body is genetically programmed to produce is a direct result of where your ancestors lived for thousands of years. In areas near the equator, like in Africa where humans first evolved, the sun's UV radiation is incredibly intense all year round. In this environment, having a lot of melanin was a huge advantage. Dark skin provided excellent protection from the sun's harmful rays, preventing sunburn and reducing the risk of skin cancer. It also protected the body's supply of an important nutrient called folate, which can be broken down by UV light. Folate is crucial for healthy development, so individuals with darker skin were healthier and had more surviving children, passing on their genes for more melanin. But what happened when people migrated away from the equator to places with less sunlight, like Northern Europe or Asia? Here, the problem was not too much UV light, but too little. Our bodies need some UV radiation to make vitamin D, which is essential for strong bones and a healthy immune system. In these regions, very dark skin would block too much of the weak sunlight, making it difficult to produce enough vitamin D. Individuals with lighter skin, meaning less melanin, had an advantage. They could absorb more of the scarce UV light and produce the vitamin D they needed to stay healthy. Over thousands of years, these two pressures pushed human skin color in different directions in different parts of the world. It's a beautiful, elegant example of our bodies adapting to the environment. It's not about one color being better than another. It's about what was most beneficial for survival in a specific place. Our skin color is simply a reflection of our ancestors' journey. It tells a story of sun, survival, and the amazing adaptability of the human body. So while our skin may look different, we are all connected by this shared story of adaptation, one big human family that has painted itself in every shade.